Hi guys, this is Queen,
And I'm Nicole,
and welcome to Behind the Weight Loss.
episode 3. Okay, so for today's episode, we're going to be talking about how important it is to follow your prescription.
Okay.
Queen, what is the craziest story that you've had from a member with their medication?
Well, I haven't had, I feel like, a really crazy story, but one thing a member had done was let us know. I think she was kind of confused between 1 milliliter to like 10 units. So she kept telling us that she was injecting 10 milliliters. And we kept trying to clarify, was it 10 milliliters or was it 10 units? We just ended up finding out that she wasn't actually overdosing. She was actually underdosing. So she was supposed to be injecting like 25 units and she was injecting like 10 units, which technically, she didn't, really experience any like health risks or anything, but she did complain about not actually feeling the medication or like the effects of the medication, and then come to find out it's because she was underdosing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. How about you? What kinds of crazy stories would you say that you get from your members?
There's a few, actually. There's some who, before they joined,
Yeah.
have gotten their medication from a friend.
What?
Yeah. Like their friend might buy, say, semaglutide and then decide to either resell it to their friend or like share it. I've had two
Yeah.
separate occasions with that. Not safe to do because it is a
course.
prescription
Yeah.
written for that person. So let's not share. And they don't even know what they were taking. They're like, oh, yeah, I think it was
Exactly.
this. Or like, I think it was a GLP-1. Who knows? So shady.
Right.
So concerning. That's my craziest one, honestly.
That reminds me of another topic. I've had someone say that they purchased semaglutide from Facebook Marketplace. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
From some like a random vial. They don't know exactly if it's actually semaglutide.
yeah.
And one thing that's very important is that you do need a physician to prescribe this to you, because you don't know if, let's say, you might have any health risk that could, kind of contradict with the medication. So it's always good to speak to a physician or maybe a private care physician, just to ensure that, your lab work does, coincide with the medication itself. It's good to be safe.
Yeah.
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 And at least have like a doctor track it if you have any issues as well. Like at least, if you're getting it from us, you have a doctor. You can message the doctor at any point.
Yeah.
The lab works they asked for as well, so they are tracking your progress, but you have somebody you can talk to in case anything goes weird, opposed to Facebook Marketplace.
Very sketchy.
Very sketchy.
I feel like Facebook Marketplace is more so maybe like cute clothes or something like that.
A furniture item, a dresser.
Yeah, not something that you're going to inject. I would
Yeah.
not. I see people selling food and I'm like, okay, that's even a little too much.
Yeah.
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 Another thing I wanted to kind of touch base on. Have you ever had like a member who came up to you telling you they're not really feeling the effects and, are looking to just, increase or have you ever had a member come up to you and state that they've already increased without letting their physician know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, how was that like?
It's never good.
Yeah.
I sympathize with them because sometimes, like especially with semaglutide, it is a slower start.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are coming from a place where they've been on it before, so they feel like they can go back to that same dose as before, even though it was probably some time between the two, like the last time they took it. But there's still a reason to titrate up. Because you can get really sick.
That's true.
And yeah, a handful of people, they do decide to, I increased after 2 weeks, which like semaglutide after 2 weeks, the first dose, sure, because that's how the prescription's written. But the following doses, you want to be on it for at least a month to allow your body to adjust to.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you can get really, really sick.
Exactly. And I feel like people don't really understand. When it comes to side effects, I feel like people feel like they should be experiencing side effects or the medication is not as effective. I feel like that's not the case. If you're not experiencing the side effects but are seeing differences when it comes to like portion sizes, then that means that medication is working. I feel like people have really high expectations with medication, and it's good to like reiterate that it's a slow worker, and weight loss is like a progress thing. And you should just take some time to allow the medication to work with your body rather than work against it. So it's always good to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's something you said in that triggered something. Oh, it was, people expecting the side effects. They expect to feel super nauseous. Why? Why do you want to feel nauseous?
That's like what I feel like people go to tirzepatide just so they don't feel nauseous, right?
Yeah. You have like less side effects with that one.
Yeah.
So, but I have had members as well who like, I don't feel anything, like it's not working. It's like, are you sure? Like, are you thinking about food as much? Like, are you eating less? And like, once you get into those questions, then they start noticing, it is actually working.
Exactly.
But they're like, for some reason, expecting it to like make them feel really sick. And like, we don't want that. If you're feeling really sick, you're probably on too high of a dose and you want to reach out to your physician and talk to them about maybe decreasing it, because that's not something you want all the time. Like, it's not.
I completely agree. I always try to like emphasize that you shouldn't be actually experiencing side effects. I mean, it's common, usually sometimes.
Queen, have you ever had somebody inject their full vial?
I've never had anyone do that, but I've heard of a lot of members. Let me guess. Yeah, you had an experience, huh?
Yeah, a couple. I think it's not like every week, but like I think I've had like 3 separate people.
Wow.
Especially it more so happens when they're like fully new to the program. And because you get so little in the vial that they think that's one injection and that they're going to get one every week. No, not the case, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people like expect the vial to be completely full.
So it kind of depends on your program. If you are coming over and starting it for the first time, doing like a 4 or 6 week program, you're not going to have a full vial. It's going to be like super tiny, like there or lower.
Exactly.
And then if you get like a 3-month program, then you probably have a full vial or close to. I think like monthly, it might still just be like a small amount in the vial if you're on a monthly program, because, you don't need that much. You're probably at a really low amount for a while too. It's really like the 3-month programs and the 6-month programs, you will probably get a full vial. Like when I got the tirzepatide, it was a 3-month program and it was a full vial. But that's the other thing. People think they would get a vial for each month, but it was 1 vial for the first 3 months on tirzepatide. Again, it's because like you're on a really low dose at the beginning.
Exactly.
So it does all fit on there, which leads to the other really important thing, that every time you do get a vial, a new like order in, always read the bottle.
Please always read the label, please.
Yes.
I can't stress this enough. I feel like a lot of people kind of, especially I feel like, they follow their patient portal and it says 2.5 milligrams. Then they look at the vial and then the syringe and expect to see 2.5 milligrams. So either they end up over injecting or under injecting. But it's so important to read the label because you want to ensure that you are, following the right protocols. And I feel like, you know, with the medication, it really depends on the size of the vial. Sometimes we dispense vials that are 1 milliliter, and then sometimes we dispense vials that are like 3 milliliters. So I feel like, let's say when you do reorder, you're expecting a different size or the same size every single time. And then when you do see like different amounts, you're like, oh, this is not what I ordered, or this is not the right amount that I ordered. Or I actually had one member who previously she was on a 1 month supply for the 7.5 milligram dose, and she was injecting, I believe, 75 units. Then she went to the 3 month supply. The concentration was, I believe, lower, and she was supposed to inject, I believe, around 37 units, around there. And she ended up sticking to the same dose that she had with her first vial, which she ended up injecting way too much. So no matter what, even though you feel like you're very confident with the medication and you're used to it, always check the label, because you don't know what your physician prescribed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Every time. Even if you're prescribed at the same amount, because I had a similar person recently where she was still at 7.5, but I think her previous vial was at a lower concentration, so she was doing like 100 units on the needle, and then her newest one, it was double the concentration, so it was only supposed to be 50 units, but she kept doing 100 units. So she ran out quicker, obviously, but then again, you're taking double the amount, which not good, which is again why you always want to read it.
Yeah, because it's important. Yeah. But as I say, like, the vials are going to come, I feel like, in different sizes depending on your dose, depending on your supply. If you ever have questions regarding it, it's always good to speak to your physician, your MSD agent, or a customer service, just to ensure that you're doing it properly, because safety is, your safety, your health is the first step, rather than just like, I feel like people are always focused on, rapid weight loss, stuff like that, but it's always good to just be safe. So, Nicole, what do you feel about members, having a certain dose that's already effective, but still being interested on, an increase? What do you do when it comes to that?
Well, I'll tell them to reach out to their physician.
Of course.
The thing with the 3 month plans is that, especially at the beginning, it might be written, well, it probably will be written to have an increase each month. And sometimes that member won't need an increase. It might be really effective at maybe the first dose or maybe the second dose or whatever dose. And it's good if you notice it's effective, you're noticing all the effects we want, like decrease in food noise, eating less, like those effects, and you're noticing weight loss, then to stay on that for a while until it's not working and then increasing. The main thing is, though, that you want to reach out to your physician once you hit that dose. So if you're at week 4 at say 5 milligrams tirzepatide and it's still working for the full week, let your physician know, reach out in the link, and then let them know, and just stay on it until it's not working. And then once you notice that the 5 milligram dose is no longer working, then increase to the 7.5. So that's kind of the only time really I might suggest, but as long as they reach out to their physician and have that conversation with them, it should be okay.
Exactly, because I feel like the physician would be able to confirm if that's like a safe thing to do, or if maybe they do need an increase. Why do you feel like it's so important to stick to a dose when it's effective?
Because if you're increasing each month, when you don't need one, you could end up feeling really sick at a higher dose, because it might just be too much for you. Also, going higher when a lower dose is working is not going to be it doesn't mean you're going to lose weight faster. It's still going to be at the same pace. Also, you don't want to hit a plateau once you get to the highest dose, and then there's nowhere to go. So at least if you stay on the lower dose while it still works, you still have room to go higher.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's very common for a lot of our members to like increase every single month and then hit a plateau much sooner than later. That's, at a point, that's when we have to do like dosing adjustments, little adjustments to kind of, get them away from that plateau. But it's always good, like if you're feeling the effects on a certain dose, it's good to just like maintain it until you do feel like the effects are wearing off. And then that way, I mean, obviously don't make the decision for yourself. As we always say, we always emphasize how important it is to speak to your physician. Make sure that, you always have access to your Weightcare patient portal, and you also have access to customer service anytime you do want to reach out to your physician. So anytime you ever want to make any decisions when it comes to your prescription, it's good to reach out to get, the right answers and, to be safe at the end of the day. Another thing is I feel like we do have a structured dosing that we do follow, obviously, and it's important. But I feel like everyone's experience is very different. We're all different. We have our own bodies that we're having different experiences. And we're very flexible. I feel like our physicians are very flexible when it comes to dosing. So anytime you do feel like, a dose might be a little too much and you do feel like maybe a decrease might be, good for you, you can always reach out to your physician, see if maybe a decrease might be suitable for you, and then go from there.
Yeah.
In general, I feel like obviously this is the time to wrap it up, but just wanted to go do a little quick overview of our topics. The general consensus is that, it's good to follow your dosing. However, we're very flexible. Our physicians are always there, always reach out if you ever want to make any changes. And, always follow, the dosing that you're prescribed. It's very important to make sure that, you are on the safe side. But in general, it was great having you guys join us. Please like and subscribe and follow us for more.